Well, hello there, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Slippy-J Sunday. Today we have the TS126-UP. I don't necessarily know what was changed with this one, but that's what the model number suggests. This is a very small slip joint. Let's see, yeah, you can see it there next to it's basically about 2.5 quarters wide or something like that. Something interesting about it is that the backspring is fairly exposed, but it still does have a nice half stop, as you can actually see implemented there. And there we go. I can do a little bit of size comparisons, but trying to compare some slip joints, yeah, here it is against the real steel Luna, obviously much larger. And about the only other one that I probably have that a lot of people are familiar with is the Cold Steel Lucky one. And it's also, like twice the size. So this thing is very, very diminutive. But because of that, it can do some things that a lot of others can't. Like if you really just need to get to kind of a tip on something, if you're, I don't know, I guess cleaning your fingernails or doing some sort of detail work on something, it's very, very comfortable for that. It's basically a 2-finger knife. And from what I kind of at least understand was this knife was designed by Nightmorning from this shape here was basically a thing that he had that he liked the shape of and decided to design a knife handle after it. I don't know if it was a tool or something like that, little kind of out there sort of thing, Instagram sort of thing. And obviously there's a language barrier. He doesn't particularly speak English, so, there's that. But that's kind of what I understand was going on with this guy here. But this is titanium for the scales, obviously stainless steel backspring here, and M390 on the blade. There we are. You have a nice sharpening choil there, like super, super nice. Obviously, it is not something for your finger. I don't even think the most Lilliputianist of hands could really use that as a finger choil, so we're just going to call that a very generous sharpening choil, which is fantastic. I do like that. For a 2-finger knife, though, it's pretty comfortable and pretty darn capable. It's pretty darn thin behind the edge, too, I do have to say. That's pretty nice. Obviously, I have sharpened this thing, but this thing is quite short, as in not short, but short. So this makes it very, very difficult to put some kind of a decent angle on it with a clamp-based system, like the KME or the Worksharp Precision Edge or anything like that. Because even if you clamp on just a little tiny bit there on the end, well, for one, if you do that, it wobbles too much and you're really not accurate or anything. So if you clamp on a little bit more than that, then yeah, the stone's going to end up hitting the clamp. Ask me how I know. So for a lot of knives like these, Swiss Army knives and stuff like that, I really, really do like to just put a nice fine edge, slightly convex on there from the Kin Onion Worksharp with the blade grinding attachment. It works fantastic, and it doesn't really matter the thickness of the knife. But yeah, it is a little bit more of a manual process, I suppose, doing that. You can set the angle there, but if you're not very, very confident in exactly where that blade is being flat, then you can mess it up. But it does put a really, really, really nice edge on it, very, very easily as well. But that convex edge, it does last a little bit longer, but I do find the slicing characteristics of a full V shape instead of a convex kind of thing, just to have just a little bit more sliciness feeling to it. But still, when you're working with something like this, it's really not going to matter. At least I don't personally think so. It's still quite capable for what it is, though. It is interesting to see the exposed lock bar there. It's ZT, Zero Tolerance, actually recently put out a knife. It is a locked knife, but the stop pin on it is kind of in the same kind of concept. This knife is, it's certainly not a new one. It's been around for quite a while, obviously, as it's had an upgrade of some sort going on there. It's a pretty neat little piece. There is something to be said that is super convenient about having a very small blade like that, which is why some things are best suited to Swiss Army knives, because they're very thin, usually short unless you have kind of one of the full size. I'm talking like the SD Classics. Then, they do a great job at what they do. And this one kind of does that, but very much upscale from there. Obviously it's not using Celador plastic. It's not using 1.4116 steel. And it's very robust for the tininess that it is. I can go ahead and do some measurements here. Let's see, I'm on inches now. So the blade length, 1.7, essentially. It was probably exactly 1.7 before I sharpened it, and it might have just taken out that tiny little bit there from the sharpening, or something like that. So yeah, definitely under a 2-inch blade. So, this is basically legal, and it's non-locking, so yeah, this is basically legal the world around, unless, I don't know, there's some places and jurisdictions that just won't let you have a knife, period. I know here in the States, sometimes banks just straight up will not let you have knives at all and stuff like that. And there's technically policies for a lot of companies that cover that. But when it's this small, for one, no one's going to care. And for two, no one's probably going to know either. So there you go. We got a thickness of 0.39 inches. So nice and thin. It does have a lanyard point here that's part of that, but not at the very end there, because that's where the backspring attaches. So you can put this on your key ring, I guess, but it's probably not going to be quite as convenient, just because that's not going to have the full rotation there. But super nice to just slip in your pocket. And we have basically 2.5 millimeter blade stock thickness on there. So that's certainly nice that it's not, a crazy 4 millimeter wide sort of thing. Very nice walk and talk on this. Obviously it's very small, so it's not going to make an incredible amount of noise doing that. But you do have a decent amount to the backspring on there. As you can see, it takes quite a bit for me to break that, pushing on it. And as I had showed earlier, a very, very nice half stop built in there. I really do like this thing. And, it's certainly not for absolutely every task. But for, having a super, super small knife, I'm all about it. It's really nice. Like I had said, this is the up model, and I don't know necessarily what they've changed between the two of them. I don't think it was anything too significant, though. Obviously, the handle shape is the same, and the backspring, so I don't necessarily know what they might have changed. I don't know, maybe it's a little bit of the jimping down there. Not sure. Sometimes it's pretty subtle with some of their updated things, which, as I found out from Jelly Jerry a while ago, most, if not all, instances of the dash up are TwoSun changes that they've done after the designer without any kind of input from them. So sometimes it's good, sometimes it might not be. I don't know. It just really depends on how that all works out. But just wanted to throw that out there. I suppose the last thing we should talk about is the weight on this thing. It is titanium. And we got, under an ounce, 0.93 of an ounce, which is great for a 1.7 inch blade. You know, it's definitely under that ounce an inch mark there. And, or 26.4, 27 grams. So, nice light little thing. But yeah, a little bit more robust than a Swiss Army knife, so you can get a little bit more work done with that without worrying about it. You're not going to have, you know, blade flex like you would with those thin little guys there. And fairly decent blade geometry. It is very, very small though, so, you know, definitely keep that in mind. This is, you know, probably not the only knife that you would want to carry in an EDC sort of thing. But I could certainly see it being something that you might want to put in, like, I don't know, one of those Altoids 10 survival things or whatnot. Or, you know, just put it in your pocket. Because it works super great that way. But, alright, that's basically everything I wanted to talk about with the TS126-UP. It's a fantastic knife. Just very, very small. Alright, I appreciate y'all for watching. And as always, have yourself a wonderful rest of your day, yo.